I can't believe we got JT for this show. That this is a big get for Magic Overtime.
This is the biggest guest.
This is the biggest guest we can have
we've ever
by
had.
far.
Without further introduction,
JT.
If I wrote you a symphony, just to say.
Can you believe it?
That's what I'm talking about.
That is good stuff right there. Good
Without
stuff.
further introduction, JT joining us here on the show.
Are people disappointed now? I don't think people are. They're not disappointed.
I think you just
Does that happen a lot, that confusion, Jeff Turner? This is Jeff
sure,
Turner,
all the time, yeah.
not Justin Timberlake.
I'm not even the only JT in our organization.
That's true. That's true. I did think we were getting JT McWalters today. I was very excited to talk to JT McWalters.
No, we're kidding. We're having a little fun, but we're glad to have you here, JT.
Everybody's
of course.
turning it off right now.
No, our viewership is high.
They're staying with us. They're staying with us. JT, of course, part of the telecast on Fox Sports Florida. But 10 years in the NBA, started in New Jersey, and then came to Orlando. That inaugural season, 1989.
Well, are we doing This Is Your Life?
There we
is
are.
our life.
It's a very brief edition of This Is Your
I
Life.
guess you're
Very
saying.
brief.
Look at that. Look at that.
I don't
Does this
even know any
seem
more
like
cards.
does it seem like a long time? I mean,
Yes,
you're
it
coming
does.
up on 30 years, JT,
Yeah, it
since that
is.
inaugural season.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Lots happened to me in there.
Seven seasons as a player. The best thing, I think, now JT ranks 411 games, tied for 8th
Survivor,
all-time.
hung in there.
My favorite stat is you are 6th all-time in personal fouls.
Yeah.
For the Magic.
For the Magic.
Okay.
That's do you take that a badge of honor? Is that a badge of honor?
You know what?
for you?
If you're in the record books for something,
Yeah.
that's better than nothing.
I agree.
At one point, I had the record for the most disqualifications because of fouls.
That's true.
Fouling out of games.
That's true.
But that was, I think Nick Anderson passed me first, and then, if I'm not mistaken, Dwight came along.
We should have got you a plaque. You should have got a plaque or
You know what I
something
love
for that.
about that is and there's some guys on our team that are surprised. They feel they've never committed a foul in their
Yes.
years in the league. I heard you mention on the telecast, you were not one of those guys, though, right?
There was a few times.
Owned it.
Well,
you
there
would
was.
own it?
I got called for a foul while I was sitting on the bench one time.
Did you?
Yes.
Wait, now tell us
I was
about
not
that.
even in
How
the
is
game.
that possible?
Did you really?
The referee came over and said the foul is on number 3-1, and Matt Gukas, just kind of lost it and said he's not even in the game. He's sitting over here. But I think referees got in the habit of
Yeah, it's a habit.
just saying 3-1 and.
Got a little bit of a rhythm. They got a little bit of a rhythm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That makes
pretty
sense.
funny.
That makes
That's
sense.
pretty funny.
Okay, then you transition right from the floor straight into the radio booth. I mean, not even a break, not even like a 2-week hiatus. It felt like you were right into the booth.
Seemed like it, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it did.
Yeah. After my third knee surgery in 2 years, just felt like it was time. Needed to hang it up, and kind of was transitioning. What am I going to do going forward? So, you're just leaving the game. And I was very fortunate because David Steele was working by himself, and he said, "Have you ever thought about, broadcasting? Why don't you come sit with me?" And everybody approved, and so I did the home games, the end of the 95-96 season when I retired, and then I did the playoffs, all the playoff games with David doing radio, and then I just kind of did another year of radio with David, and then I was Dennis Newman's sidekick.
Yes, you were.
For another 8 years.
David's probably one of the most difficult guys you've had to work with, would you say?
Yeah. He's just so demanding.
Very demanding.
and,
Very
yeah.
demanding.
But he taught me so much. I think doing radio, and Dante, you probably appreciate that as much as anybody, it really kind of prepares you for the television thing, because radio, you have to be so concise, and you got to get in, get out. TV, you have so much time to develop something, but I think doing the radio first really kind of helped me think very quickly what I was doing.
Now, when you were doing the radio, a call started coming out of you a lot. I don't know if you, right? Like, can we hear it?
KAPAYA! 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 KAPAYA!
Maybe not in such rapid succession,
Not
but
in rapid succession.
KAPAYA.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody what KAPAYA means and where it came from, and just it's
And
not
you've got
common-
a couple on the telecast too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
dialed it back a little
really got a
bit.
call
I've
for
got
it.
it down. It's got
to be a big
for it.
situation.
When I first started in radio, especially as we got like Tracy McGrady, I started using it quite a bit.
Right.
But KAPAYA is part of Magic history, and so KAPAYA comes from my playing days. players, we're hard on each other. And there was one particular game we were playing the Golden State Warriors, and Tim Hardaway, not Tim Hardaway Jr., but the father,
Right.
The original.
viewers,
Right.
Tim Hardaway.
Not Antoine Carr, Boston Carr.
Tim Hardaway Jr.'s grandfather.
Tim Hardaway had it. I mean, he had it going, and he was just lighting up Scott Skiles. And so from the end of the bench, we kept hearing every time Tim would hit a shot, KAPAYA, KAPAYA. And you look over there, it's Jerry Reynolds, right? Is down there, and he and Catledge are down there, and they're not playing. They're both hurt, and they're just having a blast. And and we could tell that Skiles was really getting irritated. And so it's kind of one of those deals where you're kind of laughing inside, but the thing is it's just stuck and it stayed with us, and we were all laughing about it. And David Steele and Chip Carey, Chip was using it, and David was, and so it's kind of my way of just linking the past.
That's great.
A little bit, but that's where it comes. Jerry told me that the KAPAYA is when he was growing up playing cops and robbers, or no, he said Cowboys and Indians.
Okay.
I didn't picture Jerry Reynolds as a cowboy and Indian guy.
No.
But when you point the gun and make the sound is KAPAYA, KAPAYA. So that's what it is. It's
The story
sound of
gets
the gun,
better and
right?
better. Yeah, I learned new things about KAPAYA.
I thought I knew it going in.
I did too. I
So
didn't
that's
know
the
that part.
sound. Now, and so if you go back and you watch an old Western, right? Like watch The Big Valley or something, right? And they shoot the rifle and it's in the canyon and everything. If you listen closely,
He's right.
he might be right. It's kind of echoes and it kind of sounds like KAPAYA.
Oh,
I'm probably not going to do that.
yeah, that's great. Well, you perfected it. It's become a staple, and it's always good. It's a big moment when you get a KAPAYA. And so this is 3/4 of the Orlando Magic Pod Squad right here, right? And it's a new venture that we started, and it's a podcast that you can get. You can go to iTunes, you can go to Google Play. Have you've never done a podcast, been a part of that before? We encourage everyone to go on there, to become a subscriber, to rate it, rank it, and all that.
Yeah, we need all the hits and likes and everything we can get.
Right.
Subscribers. That's
Landon's
right.
listened 400 times, and we're up to
Yeah, we got to get somebody else other than the last name of Turner, Steele, and Galante and Marcatelli.
That's a
on
fun time. David Steele being the fourth member, but that's a fun thing to get to tell some of those stories.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And again, I've never done a pod squad. David and I are all new to this. We're
And so are we.
different generations. Well,
right.
But it's fun to get around and just tell stories away from the game itself a little bit, and hopefully you get to. But what's funny to me is it's just us, like that's what we do at dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I like
It's the same thing.
So we've done a few of these now, and I think every one has ended where we look down, we see the clock, and we've gone for 45, 50 minutes. And we walk out of there and we look at each other and we're like, well, I don't even know. Was that anything? Like, I don't even know what we just did, but everybody says it's a podcast.
That's perfect.
So,
I think that's how it's
the way
going.
it's supposed to go.
So you go to iTunes, Google Play, Orlando Magic Pod Squad. We encourage you to give that a listen. Speaking of stories, it's time to tell some stories. For those that don't know, JT is an Olympian. 1984 Olympics, the last amateur team to win a gold medal for the United States. How much pride do you take, and did you reflect back on those days that
They had
much,
some garbage
JT?
guys on that team, by the way.
Yeah.
Nobody really good on that team, right, JT?
No,
Nobody
just
good.
a few Hall of Famers on
just
that
a
team.
Look at that. What's that?
Yeah.
Is that Patrick Ewing? He's no good.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, he stinks.
Chris Mullen.
He's
he wasn't
awful.
very
Yeah,
good.
that team is
Average, so
that
very
team is
marginal players.
Very marginal.
Very
It's
marginal.
interesting, there's a NBA referee in there, Leon Wood is
yeah.
a part of that. Steve Alford on the end is the head coach of UCLA now.
Right.
So it was kind of it was a fun group to be around. Obviously it's pretty easy for me to say, but that's the best team I've ever been on. We didn't lose a game.
Right.
We won all of our exhibition games against NBA all-star teams, if you will, and then went right through the Olympics. A lot of work, learned a lot from Coach Knight and his staff, so it was a lot of fun.
The list of guys that didn't make that team is quite amazing. We have a couple of them here. And Joe Dumars, one of the best two guards of all time,
Didn't make
that team.
Right.
We got
Karl Malone, you got the mailman.
Karl Malone
Yeah.
didn't make the team.
Charles Barkley doesn't make that
Mark
team.
Price,
Mark Price.
full of Hall of Fame players that you were lucky enough to beat out and get onto that squad.
It was really an interesting time. We had 80 to 100. I don't know the exact number. Players. Seemed like 150 players, all in Bloomington, Indiana, at their field house, and there were courts everywhere. all of Coach Knight's coaching friends and everything, and you look around the mass of players and the talent, and you're just wondering, like, how do you make this team, right?
And you had all gotten an invite?
We'd all gotten an invite.
Like a golden ticket?
Kind of like a golden ticket, yeah. It's like you've been invited, so we all show up. And I don't know, I just felt you're just trying to do something. Again, you're always looking, how do you set yourself apart from the crew and everything? And for me, I just felt like if I'm going to make this team, then I've got to be able to do Bobby Knight kind of things, right? Like things that he'll notice, that he'll appreciate.
You hit someone with a chair, didn't you?
I didn't hit somebody with a chair.
You cursed out a referee.
But I wasn't afraid to, a little contact, take charges,
tied for 6 all time in fouls. That's right.
Diving on the floor, those kind of things. Setting screens, just trying to do those things. I think the big thing about that team that was interesting is we all kind of came from similar systems. Where we were all played a little bit of a motion offense and everything, and we could adapt in a very short time to what he wanted to teach us. So I think that was, a part of it, no doubt. If anybody will tell you that the best player at the Olympic trials was Charles Barkley, no doubt. But, whether or not he wanted to be a part of it when we all came back, I don't know. I was just,
That's crazy.
Not Michael Jordan, it was Charles Barkley, hands down.
Those were the best 2 players at the thing. And really, that Olympic trials elevated Barkley's stock, I think, to where he was the 5th pick in the draft.
I still want the rights to that 30 for 30, by the way. That is a 30 for 30 that needs to be done.
I think the significance of it is, as you mentioned, we were the last amateur team to win the gold.
Do you have the medal still? Do you still pull it out once in a while?
Well, I have it, in a nice case.
You wear it to Publix?
I would wear it all around town.
I don't wear it to Publix.
I would too.
But that's really the only piece of memorabilia I have in my house.
Is that right? Really?
I got a participation ribbon in a run one time. I wear that everywhere.
You wear that everywhere?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You got it on your wall of fame?
I wear it right on my chest. I took it off for the show.
You wore it to the game last time.
I did.
All right, JT, no show is final without a Would You Rather. This is how we close out Magic Overtime with Dante Galante. So are you familiar with how this works? You'll get a couple of options.
I think so.
Okay.
You think so?
These are the hard-hitting questions.
Has anyone ever asked you about the Olympics and then given you a Would You Rather? Has that ever happened?
Never has, so there's always a first.
That's why our show is the best.
That's
why our show is the best.
You're talking about set yourself apart. This is what we're trying to do. This is our Bobby Knight thing.
That's right. On that note, all right, JT, would you rather have one of your eyes be vertical? All right? Would you rather have one of your eyes just the other way, the other direction, or would you rather have your nose be horizontal? If you had to pick one, have your nose be horizontal or one of your eyes be vertical, which one would you take? And neither is not an answer. Plastic surgery is also not accepted.
I understand.
Okay.
Well, let's see. I had, when I was in college, I had my nose broken, and it was horizontal for a little bit.
Okay.
So I was dating my wife at the time, and she didn't
mind.
So I think I'll go with the horizontal nose.
All
The
right.
eye thing, that might be a little disconcerting.
I think
the horizontal nose.
I would have taken maybe the eye. But
Really?
You wear a patch on top of it afterwards. Nobody will see it. You just have to wear a
You kind of
patch.
cover it up. This is interesting. You're a cerebral guy, JT, so I'm curious to get your thought on this. Would you rather have the ability to speak all languages? You can go everywhere in the world, you adapt, right? You jump in and speak all, or the ability to speak to animals?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? I mean, where do you? What a tough decision.
That is really good.
What a tough decision.
Yours are so much more intellectual than mine.
Imagine what you could learn from an animal.
I go for silliness.
You could have.
That's an interesting. Yeah, which one?
You know what? I think I would rather be able to speak languages and be able to go anywhere.
Probably do more with that.
I don't know.
Hey, squirrel, what are you doing? You're getting nuts? Cool.
David, I talked to an elephant today. Probably carries less weight than being able to be dropped anywhere.
Hey, Mouse, what are you doing? Oh, just hanging out and making a mess. All
Probably
right,
less
cool.
you can do with that.
Yeah.
I would take the people.
Although it's a very interesting question, Dante. Let me think about it.
We'll talk
maybe over coffee we can talk
Next
more
time.
about
On the
that.
Pod Squad. We'll bring it up on the Pod Squad.
We'll talk a little more offline.
I'd love to know David Steele's answer to that one.
We're to add this.
Well,
to the Pod
JT,
Squad
thanks for stopping by. Always good to catch up with you. We got another game, so we'll see you here soon. Jeff Turner, Magic Overtime with Dante Galante.